Hey, what's up guys? John here. For the last week and a half, I've been reporting on the changes in real estate that nobody is talking about. For example, in Miami Beach, the building collapse that just occurred, they blamed it on climate change, and they're now saying that all properties in Miami-Dade have to be retrofitted to meet a new carbon emissions number by 2024. They're saying the same thing in New York. The fines can be as much as 7 figures per year if you don't comply. Same with LA. So you think about it, Miami Beach, New York, LA, but now, people didn't say too much because I think people just want to ignore it. But now they're going after 4,500 single family homes inside of some of the most prestigious communities in LA. Beverly Hills, Bel Air, Hollywood Hills, and who knows, maybe your community next. They're going after all these homes in the name of sustainability. And what's ultimately going to happen is people are going to lose their property rights if people don't stand up. They don't acknowledge what's going on, and they're not aware as to what's going on. This is straight from their playbook. My friend, who I'm not going to say her name, she owns a $4 million house in Bel Air, and she sent me an email 2 days ago and said, "Hey John, take a look at this," and brought this to my attention. How they're going to be doing this, 4,500 homes, this is on step 1. So I'm going to go through everything here in this video. Please smash that like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content. And if you have any friends in LA or Beverly Hills, Hollywood Hills, these communities, share it with them to let them know what's going on, so that way they can stand up and they can try to make a difference and save these homes and really stop this cancer from spreading, this real estate cancer that's happening right now. It's pure insanity and it's happening fast. Please smash that like button. Let's begin. When people think of the Hollywood Hills and Beverly Hills and Bel Air, they think luxury. They think wealth, real wealth, private jets, on TV, top of the line movies. That's what they think, right? Well, these homes generally all fall inside of this neighborhood, this community, this subsection of Los Angeles, where LA is going to basically take over. And what they're doing is they are going to say that these properties can never be rebuilt again. If there's a fire or an earthquake, they can't rebuild their home. So they can't build anything on that land. The land becomes useless. The only thing you can put there essentially is a tent, meaning no bank is going to finance that property. No bank is really going to finance any type of investment on that property. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. But what's interesting is that these values, these property values, and you see a $5 million, a $10 million, $20 million price point. Right here, I have it starting at $10 million and above. And look at how many homes will fit in this community. $85 million, $30 million, $100 million, 14. If I change the price point to say $5 million, the entire screen, I'll change it to $5 million just to show you. $5 million, you see how many homes pop up. If I went to 2 million, it would be literally almost every single house. And when these properties can't be developed, they can't be rebuilt, then the land is basically worthless. And when it's worthless, the city has less property tax revenue and money coming in. And when that happens, crime comes. When crime comes, all of the other adjacent communities fall around it. This seems calculated. It seems like it's for a reason. They say it's for sustainability. But when we look at this letter, this is the letter that I received in my email. Dear fellow Ridgeline homeowner, if you're like me, you probably did not pay much attention to the notice you received in the mail a month ago or two from LA City Planning Department announcing a new proposed Ridgeline protection ordinance. Like so many people on the street, if you paid any attention to it at all, you probably might have thought, good, this will preserve the wild areas in the local mountains. Unfortunately, after I read a little more about the new proposed law on the LA City Planning website, I learned that it is about a lot more than preserving pristine ridgelines. In fact, the proposed new law would change the zoning for virtually all houses here on the ridgeline streets between the 405 and Laurel Canyon. The initial ordinance would affect 4,500 houses with more to follow to a new RP1 zone. In the RP1 zone, no houses will be permitted to be built or replaced if they become worn out or obsolete, or rebuilt if they became substantially damaged, such as by a fire or an earthquake. And we all remember what happened with the recent fire around the Getty and Sepulveda. If that happens, all these homeowners are going to be wiped out. And insurance companies are going to take this into consideration when they're issuing insurance on these properties, such by fire, earthquake, or within an envelope of 50 horizontal and 50 vertical feet from a ridgeline itself, and an enormous concept. This envelope concept is probably the best understood by viewing a video where you can see it on the LA Planning website. The upshot of this is that once the new zoning takes effect, your home will be legally non-conforming use. It may continue to exist for as long as it is standing, but you will not be allowed to demolish it and replace it if it becomes worn out or obsolete, nor will you be allowed to rebuild it if it's substantially damaged by fire or earthquake, for example. This new law will dramatically lower the value of your house and will also affect your ability to obtain financing. Lenders may simply refuse to make loans on non-conforming use, or at the least will charge you a much higher interest rate. Note that the proposed zoning law actually creates two alternative zoning destinations, with the RP1 designation being the more restrictive and the alternative RP2 zone, which will permit single-story houses up to 18 feet. Accordingly to the community workshop presentation video on the LA Planning website, the RP1 designation is to be used sparingly for pristine, undeveloped ridgeline segments. Nevertheless, and inexplicably, virtually all of the homes on ridgeline would be destined for RP1, even though nearly every lot has a house on it, and many of the houses, like mine, have been here for 50 years or more. Moreover, even if the planning department were to agree to change our designation to RP2, you would still not be permitted to build a two-story house or add a second story to an existing single-story house, even though many of the houses on the street are already 2 stories. Nor would you be allowed to demolish or replace a 2-story house with a new 2-story house, or restore a 2-story house that is substantially damaged, imposing a 2-story limit on neighborhoods that are already 2-story homes will not accomplish anything and will destroy our home's values and the ability to obtain financing. Some people connected with the effort to get this new zoning passed will try to pressure you by pointing out that the city planning department can issue variances. But this is false assurances. Variances are rarely issued. You must demonstrate unique circumstances affecting your property, but not any others, and are too costly to pursue the most people in any event. Once you hear the argument, you will know that the people giving you the assurances are not on our side. Attached to this letter is a map showing the lots that are subject to RP1. So when you go over here and you look at what it actually shows you with the LA City Planning, you'll see that it's literally every single home inside this community is essentially impacted right here. So every single home that fits inside that community, we're talking Truesdale, which is one of the most prestigious communities in Beverly Hills, in all of LA. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. And they're doing it in the name of sustainability. But when you really look at what's happening, when these property values fall, we're going to see West LA as a whole fall. Beverly Hills will be shaken and broken to its knees if they lose the valuations on these properties, just because the schools are going to be so poorly funded. Everything is going to be so poorly funded if you lose these communities. And that seems like the direction that we're heading in right now. I believe real estate is the best investment if you're very smart and paranoid, kind of like how I am with real estate. I'm paranoid because I see the changes happening behind the scenes and nobody seems to be talking about it. But what I think is likely to happen is they're all going to be brought to light soon. I'm doing my part here, sharing it on the channel, but it's all going to get brought to light soon. And when it does, the risk is going to reflect the reward and prices will follow, especially as the Fed increases interest rates, forbearances expire, the eviction moratorium expires, and the panic really starts to set in, especially when we step into more problems, which I think will likely be in the next 3 to 4 months with the global economy. So when all this comes out to fruition, we're going to start to see a shock in the economy, in the market, and a distaste towards real estate. I think people are going to pull back on real estate, with the exception of single family homes that are in that $100,000 to $300,000 price point, that are in middle America traditional homes. But these luxury buildings in West LA, these multifamily properties in coastal communities, LA, Miami, New York City, these areas I think are going to get hit the most. But we're going to see all the change that's going to come very, very soon. What do you think is very likely to come with this proposed change with Beverly Hills, Bel Air, and the Hollywood Hills? Do you think that this is likely to pass And if it does, do you think that these communities are going to get hit big time? Drop your comments below, share it with a friend that lives inside of one of these communities or close by. Consider subscribing here, and also consider subscribing to my second channel. I'll leave the links pinned down below to the top comment. See you guys in the next video.